Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming. Today we're going to be reading New Directions in Cello Playing, how to make cello playing easier and play without pain. As you can see, the book has quite a lot of detailed information relating to playing the cello. We're going to begin with the foreword. This is quite an extraordinary book, certainly one of the best books on basic body mechanics ever written for the cello. That's a big statement which I make not only out of enthusiasm but carefully and with a real sense of responsibility. I want cellists to read, study, and use this book because it has the potential to improve playing and alleviate a lot of pain and suffering. I have always been wary of the dangers involved in attempting to change bow arms, hand positions, and other techniques using self-study of the printed word. In reading the manuscript of New Directions in Cello Playing, however, I was relieved to find that the majority of what is written here felt really safe. How could any reader possibly get into trouble with an approach which promotes the player's self-awareness of body balance, position, and tension-free movements? This may be a dangerous assumption, however, because someone can always find a way to misinterpret and misapply. In writing this forward, then, I want to impress upon readers how critical it is to approach Mr. Sazer's ideas, some of which are authentically new to the cello world, not only with openness but with thoughtfulness and intelligence. I admire Vic Sazer's clarity and logical evolution of thought, yet on a subject as complex as how body parts move, balance each other, and interrelate, misunderstanding is still possible. One does not have to agree with every page or every thought to profit from this book. There are a number of points that don't speak to me. This does not, however, diminish my enthusiasm for what I find to be so many wonderful perceptions. And I have such respect for Vic Sazer that I will continue to think about and experiment with everything he says. The key to successfully using this book for self-study lies in one's ability to tune in on their own body. Those who have some experience in a discipline other than the cello, such as yoga, tai chi, or meditation, may have already developed a greater sense of what is tight, what is loose, or what is free breathing. When performing the exercises in this book, look for tension or immobility of which you might be unaware. Self-awareness cannot be assumed. A young cellist who recently came to play for me attacked the Dvorak concerto with a death grip, bow arm, joints locked, thumb squeezing, and with his fingernails purple and white from forcing. I began my discussion of his performance by telling him that we needed to address his excessive tension and asked him to describe any fatigue or soreness. What? I have no problem. My arm never gets so tired that I can't play. My thumb gets weak and my arm gets numb, but you don't have to worry. I just have to build more strength. If that statement makes any sense to you, consider it again after you've read this book. There are many people playing with unrecognized and debilitating levels of muscular tension, who, like the boy who played Dvorak, are so accustomed to this tension that it feels normal. Some consider physical pain a necessary evil to be endured in order to have the energy and strength to play. In our everyday lives, we have been taught to push our body to the limit by doing more sit-ups, lifting more weights, and running to exhaustion in order to gain strength and endurance. It's sometimes hard, therefore, to convince people that this is not the best way to play the cello. It is far better for cellists to learn from the martial arts of the Far East, which focus on balancing the body, loosening joints, relaxing muscles, using body weight rather than flexed muscles for strength, and breathing in ways that promote balance and ease. Motion functions naturally when unimpaired and brings agility, vibrancy, and power, explosive if needed, to any activity. Of course, Western athletes demonstrate the same principles. Imagine a football running back who is loose enough to dart, turn, twist, change directions, throw or catch a ball, and still run straight through 300 pounds of opposing beef. It's easy to see that there are no tightly flexed muscles, no rigid joints, and that a stiff leg, wrist, or neck would inhibit body motion and make all of this impossible. How many of us have achieved that degree of looseness, balance, ease of motion, and strength? When this running back reaches to the right to catch a ball, his leg will move to the left. Before jumping high in the air, his knees bend in a preparatory motion opposite to the direction of the jump. The interaction of the body is a complex but natural mechanism which gives athletes and cellists optimal agility and strength when not blocked by rigidity. Mr. Sazer's wonderful demonstrations show how to apply such universal principles of motion and body mechanics to playing the cello. In particular, his suggestions for how to find a healthy seated position and how to use the feet to steer the body are truly exciting. These ideas, which are new to me, have given me an increased sense of buoyancy and freedom of movement. One of the world's most remarkable cellists, Janos Starker, recently told me he could best describe his entire lifetime of cello playing as the continual discovery and release of smaller and smaller points of muscular tension. We should all follow his example, and I believe that this book can be an important part of the process of self-discovery that leads us in that direction. Paul Katz, Cleveland Quartet, Professor of Cello, Eastman School of Music. Introduction. My cello studies were guided by several fine teachers, and I learned a great deal from each of them. Yet I am perhaps most grateful to my first teacher, Charles Brennan, Sr., for advice he gave me during my very first lesson. Before he let me touch my cello, he held up a pencil, explaining that musicians sometimes need to write fingerings and bowings in their music, but only in pencil, never in ink. You never know when you'll get a better idea, and furthermore, always look for one. Years later, I realized that he taught his students much more than music and cello playing. He taught us to think for ourselves and be open to change. I recall periods of disorientation during my student days when a change from one teacher to another required that I adjust to a new method or school of playing. Each teacher seemed to have different notions about cello playing, and their instructions were often contradictory. Hold your cello high, low, turned one way or another. Keep your hand parallel to the fingerboard at this angle or that. Your fingers are little hammers. Don't hammer your fingers. Press lightly, firmly. Don't press. Hang your arm on the string. Sink your fingers into the fingerboard. Rest your arm weight on your bow. Use gravity, balance. Hold your bow firmly, lightly. Increase pressure as you go toward the point. With your first finger, your hand, arm, back, or not at all. And above all, relax. At some point, I began to wonder if there were objective criteria or principles which defined the best way of doing things, or if there was a best way at all. I also wondered why some cellists play with comfort and ease while others struggle like Don Quixote in mortal combat with windmills. When I learned about the high incidence of performance-related injury among cellists, I had more questions. Why do so many who play this glorious instrument live with pain and discomfort as their constant companions? Can pain be prevented, or is it unavoidable? Curiosity and an incorrigible bent for experimentation keeps me grappling with these and other questions about cello playing. This lifelong quest for answers has been important to me both as a cellist and as a teacher. Key principles. Over time, I learned that there are indeed underlying principles which can guide cellists toward more effortless and pain-free playing. They are neither secrets nor the property of any one school of playing, nor are they solely applicable to playing the cello. They are observable principles of body movement which govern all human activity from ordinary to complex. Anyone can apply these principles. It only requires increasing awareness of the body's natural impulses and removing the roadblocks that get in their way. The key is awareness. The goal is to allow the body to do what comes naturally. By studying and applying these principles, I found some alternatives to standard cello techniques which make playing easier and alleviate pain. I would like to share what I have learned with others who are hooked on playing the cello. About this book. This book addresses musicians' pain problems in general, including the causes of pain, types of injuries, and pain prevention. It introduces natural, tension-free ways to play the cello. It presents anatomically improved ways of sitting and holding the cello, a new approach to left arm and hand techniques, and fundamentals of bowing. It also discusses other familiar but often neglected elements of cello technique. Readers are guided through a process of self-discovery designed to increase awareness of the body's natural impulses. Hands-on demonstrations are included to enable readers to compare their experiences with the author's observations. Chapter 1. Musicians and Pain. Rates of pain and injury. Would you guess that most musicians experience pain from playing their instruments? Would you guess that they have more injuries than football players? Astounding as this may seem, it is true. Health magazine reported that 65% of professional football players suffered serious career-related injuries, compared to 75% of professional musicians. Although playing the cello is not a contact sport and broken bones are not typical, other serious physical problems are common among cellists. A 1987 study of more than 2,000 musicians in 47 professional orchestras found that 76% of musicians reported at least one medical problem severe enough to affect their performance. The study also found that medical problems are most prevalent among string players. Pain affects all musicians. Pain problems are not new to musicians. Numerous written accounts of performance-related pain among musicians can be found in medical literature dating back to the early 1800s. The time is long overdue to give serious attention to identifying and alleviating musicians' pain. Pain does not respect musical accomplishment. Cellists in all fields and at all levels suffer pain and injury, including celebrated artists, students, soloists, orchestral and chamber players, studio musicians, and amateurs. Among all musicians, cellists are known for having the highest frequency of back problems. Musicians have been understandably reluctant to acknowledge performance-related pain. Many fear that doing so will jeopardize their public image or livelihood. Players still hesitate to acknowledge the source of their performance-related disabilities, although more information about the treatment of physical injuries is available now than ever before. Conditioning to accept pain. There is considerable evidence that conditioning musicians to accept pain begins in an early age. Pressure to achieve often leads to a no pain, no gain approach to instrumental study. Such pressure encourages lifelong patterns of accepting pain as normal. A 1988 study of advanced secondary school music students in Houston, Texas, found that nearly 80% of the students considered pain acceptable for achieving technique. The same study also found a higher rate of injury among cellists and bass players than other instrumentalists. Today it is common for music schools to provide in-house physical therapy services or use nearby medical centers to treat students' pain problems. In 1992, the Juilliard School of Music established an on-campus staff of 3 physical therapists to treat performance-related injuries. Music medicine and ergonomics. Recent studies of musicians' physical problems are stimulating new interest in research. Music medicine and performing arts medicine have emerged as new medical specialties. Research and treatment centers for performing artists are being established in many areas. More journals, books, and articles are available on this subject than ever before. Ergonomics is a newly evolving science which addresses the physical problems of workers in many fields. It is the study of how to adapt work environments and equipment to the physical needs of workers based on how the human body works. Developments in this field also provide guidance for addressing the physical problems of musicians. If a muscle doesn't make music, don't use it. Emanuel Furman. Chapter 2. Causes of pain. Is pain inevitable? Is it the price one must pay in order to play? Many cellists believe that pain cannot be avoided. Finding no physical relief from their performance-related pain, they are convinced that their art requires the sacrifice of their bodies. There are also many who believe that what is good for the body and the physical requirements of playing the cello represent an unresolvable dichotomy. The seeds of pain. The seeds of pain are most often sown during our earliest lessons. Fledgling cellists too often learn techniques which conflict with the natural laws of body motion. With practice, these unnatural playing patterns become deeply ingrained. Over time, unnatural movements are likely to cause pain. Some fortunate cellists avoid this pitfall by intuitively finding ways of using their bodies more naturally. While explaining the importance of careful practice to Mikey, a bright 10-year-old student, I pointed out that one learns from all practice. If you practice something right, you learn it right. If you practice it wrong, you learn it that way too. Almost before I finished my sentence, he interjected, "You mean that practice doesn't make perfect, practice makes permanent." Overuse and repetitive motions. Some experts attribute pain entirely to overuse. Overuse injuries occur when body tissues are stressed by repeatedly pushing them beyond their limits. Although overuse always requires careful attention, it is only one of many causes of pain for musicians. Focusing solely on overuse without probing the specifics of body use and instrumental methodology is of limited practical value to cellists. Repetitive motions can certainly lead to pain, yet all repetitive motions do not result in pain. The frequency, force, and manner in which they are performed can vary considerably, as can their effects. When repetitive motions generate a great deal of tension, they cause pain. The effects are different, however, when repetitive motions create little or no tension. Try the following to test different types of repetitive motion. Step 1. Snap your forearm vigorously from side to side until you feel tension or fatigue. Stop and rest when you feel discomfort. Step 2. Move your forearm in an oval-shaped path. Did changing the path of movement reduce tension and increase endurance? Observation. This example shows that even a slight alteration in the path of a repetitive motion can make a big difference in its physical effect. Improper body use. The basic causes of pain and injury have more to do with how you use your body than with how frequently you perform various motions. Improper body use is the primary cause of pain. Improper body use also increases the risk of overuse injuries, yet playing in pain is not inevitable. Most pain is related to poor body balance. Faulty alignment, immobility, and pressing are the major causes of imbalance. Body imbalance creates muscle tension, which often accumulates layer upon layer. This prevents the body from functioning freely and can cause a variety of serious and painful problems. Improper body use, the root cause of pain, is like having a pebble in your shoe. Unattended, it can go on as a nagging discomfort, or it can cause increasingly severe damage over time. Types of tension. All body movement involves functional tension. Functional tension occurs when muscles contract and lengthen to move the body or any of its parts. One does not feel this kind of tension, however. It is not excessive and causes no pain. Tension beyond this functional level is excessive and counterproductive. It can be physically damaging as well as musically limiting. Excessive tension anywhere in the body diminishes endurance and significantly increases the danger of injury. The term tension will be used in this book to describe excessive tension or tension which inhibits rather than creates motion. Chapter 3. Types of injuries. The most common injuries among musicians involve joints, muscles, nerves, tendons, and the back. Joints. Joints are the body's hinges and shock absorbers. They are most frequently injured when they are misaligned or forced to move beyond their normal range of motion. Joints can also be injured by excessive pressing or by jolting movements. Muscles. Muscles are elastic fibers which contract and lengthen to move the body and all of its parts. Muscles are arranged in opposing groups. Motion occurs when one group of muscles contracts while its opposing group lengthens. Excessive tension can prevent a muscle group that should be lengthening from doing so. This happens when opposing muscles contract at the same time. When used improperly, muscles and connected tendons can become inflamed or torn. When muscles are repeatedly torn, scar tissue replaces normal muscle fiber. Even when this damage occurs in tiny increments, its cumulative effect can permanently limit flexibility. Injuries may worsen over time. Scar tissue slowly replaces muscle. The scar tissue can impede surrounding muscles, leading to more micro tears and more scar tissue. Eventually, scar tissue dominates. Emil Pasquarelli, MD. Nerves. Nerves are cord-like bundles of fibers made up of axons. They form a network of pathways which carries information to and from the brain and other parts of the body. Nerve injury usually results from nerve compression or entrapment. The most frequent and well-known injury of this kind is carpal tunnel syndrome. Carpal tunnel syndrome. Tendons in the median nerve pass through the carpal tunnel in the wrist, which has limited space. Rapid finger movements combined with an excessively bent wrist can irritate and inflame the tendons. This causes the tendons to swell. Swelling diminishes the space within the carpal tunnel and compresses the median nerve, disrupting communication between the hand and the brain. The result can be pain, numbness, tingling, or weakening of the thumb and the first and middle fingers. This occupational injury is responsible for about half of all current work-related injuries in the United States. CTS is widespread among those who work at computer keyboards for long periods and others who regularly move their fingers rapidly while their wrists bend downward. Using a similar arm and hand position to perform rapid finger movements can likewise cause CTS for cellists. Although keeping the wrist excessively high while performing rapid finger movements can induce CTS, researchers at Pennsylvania State University have recently found that a lowered wrist extension, is more dangerous than a raised wrist flexion. Tendons. Tendons are fibrous tissues which connect muscles to bones. Trauma and strain can inflame or tear tendons, causing painful tendinitis. Frequently re-injuring tendons stimulates the formation of calcium deposits. When these deposits become extensive, they must be surgically removed. Tendon damage can be one of the most debilitating injuries. Although the dictionary defines tendinitis as the inflammation of the tendon, this term is commonly used to refer to trauma of muscles, tendons, a combination of muscles and tendons, or the musculotendinous unit. The back. The back is a complex support system for the body. A key component of the back is the spine, which consists of 33 stacked bones, or vertebrae. The upper 24 of these bones are separated by gel-filled cushioning discs. The back also contains the spinal cord, which includes a cable of nerves that transmits impulses to and from the brain, controlling all activities below the neck. 31 pairs of nerves from the spinal cord which transmit information between the brain and the muscles, approximately 400 muscles, and about 1,000 tendons. Cellists commonly injure their backs by using techniques which compress or twist the spine. This can rupture spinal discs and stress back muscles and tendons. Sitting positions which keep the body off balance are a major cause of back pain. Chapter 4. Preventing pain. Avoiding injury. Many harmful effects of improper body use can be prevented by learning to play without tension. This requires that we first learn to identify the sources of tension. Everyone knows that physical limitations are real. Some believe, however, that playing the cello demands exceeding these limits. Yet pushing beyond realistic limits inevitably leads to pain. Wise musicians take responsibility for protecting their bodies by refusing to allow circumstances to push them beyond safe limits. While the most important defense against performance-related injuries is to learn to play in ways which do not cause pain, musicians can also develop protective strategies. For example, when orchestral players are required to perform extended stressful passages, they can prevent injuries by alternately resting or easing up. The varying of fingerings and bowings can also reduce stress. Concern for the physical well-being of musicians must be a high priority for conductors and orchestra managers, as well as playing musicians. Given the disproportionately high injury rate, awareness and education are needed for all concerned. Physical conditioning. Keeping physically fit through regular exercise is as important for musicians as for athletes. Programs such as the Alexander Technique, Tai Chi, or yoga can help musicians to align and balance their bodies. Many music schools now have Alexander Technique instructors on staff. Tai Chi is practiced by more people worldwide than any other body conditioning program, and yoga has been used for physical and mental development for about 6,000 years. Any conditioning program that teaches you how to balance your body, breathe freely, and expand your spine and joints can be helpful. Such programs promote good health, stimulate a sense of well-being, and can significantly reduce performance anxiety, as well as tension. When engaging in such activities, however, be sure to avoid exercises that are not comfortable. A good rule of thumb is to trust your own body and never do anything that hurts. It is important to keep your body balanced and mobile. Avoid pressing or forcing and never play through pain. Sufficient rest time during playing sessions is also essential. Systematically stretching and warming up before playing can protect your body and make it less injury prone. Old muscles are more vulnerable to injury because they are less pliable. It is best to avoid high impact or jolting movements in daily activities, exercise, and when playing the cello. These movements cause the body to automatically react by vigorously contracting the muscles to protect them from further injury. Such contractions can cause pain and injuries. Balance and alignment. The marvelous structural engineering of the human body must be protected and well maintained to function efficiently. Like a well-constructed building, it must have a strong frame and a solid foundation. Your body's skeletal frame and muscles must be balanced to be strong, and your feet must be properly placed to provide a stable and supportive foundation. If a building has a defective foundation or is out of alignment, it is weak and unsafe. If your body is misaligned, however, it adjusts to protect its weakened frame. It does this by lengthening some muscles and shortening others. This does not eliminate the basic imbalance. It is simply how the body compensates to protect itself from further injury. If a basic imbalance is not corrected, this adaptive process continues, causing some muscles to become stronger while others weaken. Over time, imbalance and flawed alignment become accepted as normal. Combining a good physical conditioning program with improved playing methods can improve muscle balance and correct misalignments. With proper training or retraining, the body's innate adaptive capability can restore healthy body alignment. Those who guide young musicians during their formative years bear a very special responsibility. They are the ones who can best prepare their students for a lifetime of pain-free playing. While many teachers in music schools are aware of pain problems, pain-free playing methods and physical conditioning programs designed specifically for musicians need wider attention and development. Music schools are failing us because they don't stress physical conditioning. Most musicians fail to grasp that they are athletes. Emil Pasquarelli, MD. Natural playing. Most motions used to play the cello are natural and familiar to our bodies. They are instinctive and we use them daily. Learning to play the cello does not require us to learn new motions, but to apply motions our bodies already know to a new activity. Most of us can lift our arms and let them fall. We can pick things up and put them down, wiggle our fingers, and pull or move our arms in many directions. These are all motions we use for cello playing as well as for a myriad of other activities. Seemingly complex motions are usually combinations of simple ones, just as complicated words are combinations of simple syllables. Observing how we use our bodies in everyday activities can provide insight into the nature of body movement. Just by being alive, we perform an amazing variety of intricate motions without a second thought. Babies do not have to be taught how to crawl or to walk. When their bodies are ready, they intuitively do what comes naturally. The principles of body movement are the same when we walk, play the cello, perform brain surgery, or chop onions. Our greatest challenge in learning to play the cello is to build on our instinctive impulses rather than to obstruct them. It is not stressed often enough that the playing of an instrument is physical work, and therefore the same rules can be applied to it as to any other activity in which skill is demanded. A certain amount of timidity leads musicians to fear that they will be considered craftsmen, not artists, if they give importance to the physical aspects of playing. Emanuel Furman. Although most motions used to play the cello are natural, knowing how to play the cello is not. Specialized skills must be learned, and aspiring cellists must go to a teacher for instruction. This is often a critical formative event. Will the teacher encourage the use of natural body motions or inadvertently construct obstacles which subvert them? Learning to play the cello. Learning to play the cello is like learning any other skill. Known motions are merged in new combinations and transformed into a specialized new vocabulary. For cellists, this is largely a tactile vocabulary, a cello vocabulary. As this vocabulary develops, we make connections between new sensations and those we already know from past experience and intuition. This process is similar to learning to swim. Familiar body, arm, and leg movements form a new tactile vocabulary to meet the physical requirements of this activity. Musicians are athletes. Musicians have a great deal in common with athletes. Both engage in activities demanding high levels of physical efficiency, balance, and grace. They each strive to perform their most challenging feats with the greatest of ease. Musicians are in fact highly specialized athletes. Jack S. Winberg and Merle F. Salas. Preventing pain. How can we prevent injury and pain? How do we develop pain-free cello techniques? Although some pain problems are complicated and may require considerable training or retraining, many are simple and easily correctable. The first step is to increase awareness and understanding of our bodies and how they work. Our bodies continually provide us with information, yet we too often ignore or do not understand their messages. Awareness is the first step. The second step is to reevaluate our basic assumptions about cello playing. Because no school of cello playing is immune to pain or injury, the path to progress must include a careful re-examination of all widely used practices. This evaluation need not be overwhelming or complicated. It does not require an advanced degree or special equipment. To succeed, a cellist must only be alive and able to breathe and feel. As you will see, your own body is the best guide to more natural and tension-free playing. Each one of us is a living laboratory equipped with all of the diagnostic equipment needed for this process. Part 2. Chapter 5. Getting acquainted with your body. About the demonstrations. The best way to become better acquainted with your body and increase your understanding of how it works is to observe how it feels to perform particular actions. From this point forward, demonstrations are suggested to enable you to physically experience the concepts presented. They will help you to identify sources of physical tension and discover tension-free methods of playing. Some demonstrations are performed without the cello. These will help you explore basic principles of body movement. Others illustrate body motions which are similar to those used in cello playing. Demonstrations with the cello are also included. Perform these demonstrations as experiments in your own process of self-discovery. Increasing awareness of how you use your body can free you from unwanted tension. Observe your reactions to each demonstration and consider how they relate to your cello playing. Evaluate the demonstrations for yourself first, then compare your results with the author's observations which follow most of the demonstrations. Balanced stance. Several of the demonstrations ask you to assume a balanced stance. Find the body alignment in the following way. Number 1, stand tall with your feet about shoulder width or a little farther apart. Step 2, let the crown of your head face the ceiling and expand your lungs. Step 3, with your sternum up, release your shoulders and tuck your pelvis under. Step 4, bend your knees slightly, just enough to make sure that they are not locked. Step 5, balance your weight on the ball and heel of each foot. Do not rest on the outer edges of your feet. This rotates your hips to a position which weakens support for your back, whether you are standing or sitting. Turn your feet forward. Turn your feet toward your little toes to test the difference. Identifying sources of tension. Muscle tension is a major cause of pain and injury. To eliminate this tension, you must first be able to identify its sources. The demonstrations in this chapter are designed to heighten your awareness of the sources of tension. The breath test. The breath test is our most important diagnostic tool. It is both the simplest and most effective way to tell if our bodies are tension-free or not. When our bodies are completely balanced, we are tension-free and able to breathe deeply and completely. Our bodies are at their peak of efficiency in this state. When tension is presented, our breathing is immediately restricted. This information helps us to discover where the tension resides. In many ways, the breath test is our best teacher. It is an unfailing tension detector and sends clear signals to guide us to the most tension-free ways of using our bodies. Demonstration 1, the breath test. Breathe deeply as you perform each of the following steps. Step 1, assume a balanced stance. Step 2, lean your head forward. Step 3, lean your head to one side. Step 4, turn your torso a degree or two to one side. Step 5, rotate your torso gently from side to side with even continuous motion. Step 6, lean your torso slightly forward. Step 7, hold your elbow a bit behind your back. Step 8, lift one or both of your shoulders. Step 9, pull one or both of your shoulders forward. Step 10, bend your wrists downward. Step 11, experiment with other body positions. Is your breathing restricted in some positions? Can you breathe more freely in some positions than in others? Observations. Tension is created when your body is out of balance. When your body is well balanced in steps 1 and 5, you are able to breathe deeply and freely. In step 5, the continuous symmetrical rotating keeps your body balanced. Tension occurs, however, when your torso stays turned to one side even for a short time. In all of the other steps, tension is created because your body is out of balance. This is confirmed by your restricted breathing. Consider how this affects cellists who routinely lean forward, pull one or both shoulders up, or move their shoulders forward when they play. What about those who keep their bodies or heads turned to one side or play with their heads down? Some cellists always turn their bodies to the left to play on the A string. Some bring their right arms behind their backs to play on the C string. Many cellists lean forward continually or when they play in the upper registers. They may be unaware that these alignments create tension, making playing more difficult and increase the risk of pain. The breath test is our litmus test. Demonstration 2, alignment and balance. This demonstration helps explore how body alignment and balance affect muscle tension. Step 1. Tilt your head slightly forward. Let go, releasing all of the muscles in your torso and allowing your upper body to fall forward. Step 2. Lean your torso a bit forward. Let go. Step 3. Raise one shoulder. Let go. Step 4. Twist your torso to one side. Let go. Step 5. Rotate your torso symmetrically from side to side. Let go. Step 6. Assume a balanced stance. Let go. Does your upper body fall forward when you let go in some of the steps? Does your upper body fall to one side when you let go in some of the steps? Does your body remain erect in any of the steps? Observations. When you let go in steps 1 through 4, your upper body falls forward to one side. When you let go in steps 5 and 6, your body remains erect. Why? In each of the first 4 steps, your body is off balance. When you lean your head, which weighs several pounds, forward, extra weight is shifted so that it is in front of your center of gravity. This is why your torso falls forward when you let go. When you twist your body, tilt your head, or raise your shoulder, extra weight is again shifted, causing you to be off balance. This makes you fall to one side when you release. On the other hand, when you let go in well-balanced positions, such as in steps 5 and 6, your body remains comfortably erect. In step 5, you maintain good balance by symmetrically turning your body from side to side. Keeping your torso turned and immobile, even for a short time in step 4, however, undermines your balance. Whenever your body is off balance, your muscles are forced to do extra work to keep your body upright. This extra work causes tension, which can lead to discomfort or pain. Chapter 6. Gravity, Balance, and Body Use. Gravity. Gravity is a constant downward force. If permitted, it pulls your head down toward your neck and your trunk down toward your hips. It also compresses or rounds your spine and makes your body sag. You can cope with gravity by either actively lifting or passively submitting to it. You cannot submit completely, of course, because just being alive requires lifting. You can, however, give in enough to significantly reduce your body's efficiency and increase your risk of injury. When your body is lifted and well balanced, your spine and joints expand and you are able to breathe without restriction. With this body alignment, gravity becomes an asset rather than a liability. Columbia astronauts Richard Hybe and Dr. Chiaki Mukai measured each other's spine with an ultrasound imaging machine during their July 1994 space flight. They found that, like all astronauts in outer space, they had grown a few inches because the spine stretches at zero gravity. It may seem at first glance that lifting or extending your body upward requires more effort than allowing it to relax downward. This is not the case, however. In fact, the greatest freedom of movement can only be achieved when you are lifting your body. Although total relaxation may be appropriate for resting or meditation, it is hardly the condition to be in when you are playing your cello. To play the cello, you must be free of tension, but also alert, balanced, and poised for action. Body use in walking. Most cellists use their bodies in one of these 3 ways when they play. They either apply downward pressure, release body weight downward, or lift their bodies. Although many combine these approaches, it is useful to explore the characteristics of each. The next demonstration illustrates 3 distinct ways that people use their bodies. The distinctions are observable in all activities, including walking and cello playing. Demonstration 3. 3 ways of walking. Perform the breath test with each step. Step 1. Walk, pressing your feet downward against the ground. Step 2. Walk, relaxing your body weight downward. Step 3. Walk, maintaining a balanced stance. Focus on lifting your body. Be sure that you pivot from the heel to the ball of each foot. Which way of walking feels best? Which way gives you the greatest feeling of strength, buoyancy, and well-being? Which way allows you to breathe most freely? Observations. Notice that when you press your feet against the ground or relax your body downward, your body feels heavy and your trunk tends to lean forward. Walking in either of these ways restricts your breathing. In contrast, your trunk remains erect when you lift your body. You feel more energetic, light on your feet, and you are able to breathe freely. In the living body, not even sleep can bring the center of gravity to a perfect standstill, and moving about will make it swing considerably. Otto Zenji and Mikai Nemisuri. Balance. Like a scale, the human body always seeks balance. When you depress one side of a scale, the other side rises. When you release it, the scale seesaws until equilibrium is reestablished. Unlike a scale, however, the human body is always in motion. Its center of gravity is constantly shifting in a series of continuous counterbalancing reactions. The body is like a flexible combination of several scales. It can balance its parts even when they move in different directions and on different planes. Allowing this balancing process to function freely is a fundamental key to playing the cello more easily and alleviating pain. Opposites. Opposites are implicit to the concept of balance. Physics teaches that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. If one part of your body moves without a counterbalancing motion in the opposite direction, your body is off balance and tension is created. Because your center of gravity is always in motion, counterbalancing movements are always also constant. Since your body is so much heavier than your arm, a relatively small body movement or impulse can propel your arm a greater distance than the motion of your body. Often the body impulse is so slight that it is not even visible. It may only be felt as resistance to an arm movement in the opposite direction. When your bow arm and your body move in opposite directions at the same time, the friction created between the bow and string enables you to produce a sound easily. If, however, your bow arm and body move in the same direction at the same time, this friction is partially or completely neutralized. It then takes greater force to produce sound. There are many observable instances of opposites balancing one another. When you walk, your arms move in the opposite direction from your legs to keep your body balanced. When you move your arm up and down to wave, your hand moves in the opposite direction from your arm. When Daniel, my 9-year-old grandson, asked for help opening a tight cabinet door, I suggest that he move his body toward the door as he pulls the knob away from it. To his delight, the troublesome door opened immediately. Demonstration 4. Balance in motion. This demonstration illustrates how movement affects body balance. Step 1. Assume a balanced stance. Step 2. Draw large and small circles in the air in front of you with your right arm. Allow your body to move as it is naturally inclined to do. Step 4. Draw spirals, figure eights, and other shapes in varying sizes. Notice how your body moves. Be aware of the sensations in your feet. Step 5. Draw circles or other shapes, but do not allow your body to move. Step 6. Draw circles or other shapes. Initiate your movements by steering your body with your feet. Allow your arm to react to the movements of your body. Step 7. Experiment with other motions, such as turning a page of music, drinking a glass of water, or tightening your bow. Step 8. Move your left arm as if shifting up and down the whole length of your cello's fingerboard. Step 9. Put your feet together and draw large and small circles. Do you feel tension when you do not let your body move? Do you feel stronger when you steer with your feet? Do you feel stronger with your feet apart or together? Observations. Even the slightest motion involves your entire body. Although your body may only move a short distance, your arm can move the same or a greater distance in response to the same body impulse. Your arm moves farther to draw a large circle than to draw a small one. Your body, however, moves the same distance regardless of how large or small a circle you draw. Because your body is so much heavier than your arm and is more powerful, your arm always moves in the opposite direction from your body. When your body moves, your weight shifts from side to side with each motion. You can immediately feel tension when you move your arm without allowing your body to move. When your body moves freely, however, especially when you steer your body with your feet, you feel strong and free of tension. You feel strong when you have a broad base. Narrowing your base of support by bringing your feet together weakens you and creates tension. And we are going to stop there. Thank you so much for listening and coming to learn more about new directions in cello playing. Thank you.